Brihadeshwara Temple, originally known as Peruvudaya Kovil, locally known as Thanjai Kovil, and also called Rajarajeshwaram, is a Hindu Dravidian-styled temple dedicated to the god Shiva located in south bank of Kaveri River in Thanjavur, Tamil Nadu, India. The original monuments of this 11th century temple were built around a moat. It included Gopura, the main temple, its massive tower, inscriptions, frescoes, and sculptures predominantly related to Shaivism, but also of Vaishnavism and Shaktism traditions of Hinduism. The temple was damaged in its history and some artwork is now missing. Additional mandapam and monuments were added in the centuries that followed. The temple now stands amidst fortified walls that were added after the 16th century. Temple survived 6 major earthquakes, all weather conditions and invasions of various kingdoms. The temple has several musical pillars that make different sounds when tapped. The temple has the world's tallest Vimanam temple tower, and its kumbam, the structure on the top, weighs approximately 80 tons. Brihadeshwara Temple is the first complete granite temple in the world. The main temple is entirely built from approximately 130,000 tons of granite rocks. Thanjavur is a center for architecture, art and religious place in South India. Till date it's the tallest temple. The structure shows wealth, artistic and expertise, power of the Chola kingdoms. The temple is dedicated to Lord Shiva and completed in the year 1010, as this says it is more than 1000 years old. The structure is an example of Dravidian architecture and expresses the ideology of Tamil civilization and Chola Empire. There are inscriptions on the third entrance of the temple that reiterate the work of Chola kings and architecture in Old Tamil scripts. There are 108 small lingams inside the temple, the tallest one being 3.7 meters in height. The everlasting beauty of Thanjavur paintings lies in the herbs. Hindu sages used natural elements for designing Vedic symbols which acted as gateways of communication. These symbols were purposely painted using solution made up of natural elements like flower petals, colorful leaves, haldi, turmeric treated muds, crushed salts, neem, pressed herbs, etc. The lasting of such Vedic designs have ensured the same method of Hindu sadhas that were originally replicated by Hindu painters, who used their ancient knowledge to paint everlasting beautiful paintings. Secret passages were built by Raja Chola in his period. The passages were unique, in the form of underground passage. It is found that the passage connects all the temples made by the king. Secret passages were built in such a way that it connects the places of Chola kings together, like the one that connects the palace of Raja Chola and the Tanjore Big Temple. It is said that reciting Vedic mantra could levitate 80-ton stone for placing it at top of Brihadeshwara Temple or Priya Kovil, an easy task for Vedic sages. There were many mantras that were recited by Hindu sages to get impossible tasks done while penance and remembering Bhagwan Shiva. It might sound miracle for all of us so-called modern but materialistic beings. It was never a secret for ancient Hindus. During morning or evening when the sun is out, the shadow can be seen falling on the ground. It is only during noon that the shadow of Gopuram will not fall on ground but on itself. The main reason is the basement of structure, which is big enough to absorb the shadow of the Gopuram on its base itself. The temple has a huge statue of Nandi, sacred bull, at the entrance. The statue is carved out of a single rock and weighs around 20 tons. The lingam inside the temple is 3.7 meters tall. Ground. The geometrical construction is perfect and it was created 1000 of years ago with perfect balance, which withstands natural and political phenomenon. 216 feet Vamana. The primary tower has a hollow shape and the stones are interlocked without any binding material, while they stand powerfully in their weight. Another miracle is the 216 feet hollow tower, without any binding material, has an ideal equilibrium and balance, despite all the natural disasters in 1000 years. Stairs on the top. Further, there is a small staircase above the primary deity that leads to the upper part of the tower. If mantra Om is recited inside the hollow area, the divine vibration creates an immortal experience. Ulmozhivarman, a Tamil emperor who was popular as Raja Chola I laid out foundations of Brihadishwara temple during 1002 CE. It was first among other great building projects by Tamil Chola. A symmetrical and axial geometry rules layout of this temple. Temples from same period and two following centuries are expressions of Tamil's Chola power, artistic expertise and wealth. Emergence of these types of features, such as multifaceted columns along with projecting signals of square capitals, signifies arrival of Chola style, which was new at that time. It is one architectural exemplar, which showcases true form of Dravida kind of architecture in temples and is a representative of ideology of Chola Empire in southern India's Tamil civilization. Brihadishwara temple testifies to Chola's brilliant achievements in architecture, painting, bronze casting and sculpture. Ishwara temple was erected in only 7 years. Its precincts are surrounded with cloisters covering an area of 120 meters by 240 meters and are also surrounded outside with heavy brick walls for an area of 350 meters square, including a large tank reservoir. There is a Nandi shrine, 2 continuous extensive mandapas worship rooms, an antarila antechamber, and a vimana with a high tower, all in line on the east-west axis. On the same axis stand Gopuram's temple gateways of the early phase at the eastern center of the cloister and the brick wall. They are the sole entrance spots to the temple precincts. Though they are embellished with sculptures, they look much lower than later Gopurams of huge temples in South India, as the height of the Vimana is great in contrast. The second Gopura on the line of the cloisters is 24 meters in both width and height, lower than the first Gopura, but its sculptures are larger, with a pair of Dwarapalas guardian figures on both sides of the doorway. Famous Thanjavur Thalayatti Bhumai and other beautiful sculpture. We can buy some of these as a memory to our trip to Thanjavur temple. Please don't forget to keep connected with us and subscribe to our channel with a thumbs up. Always keep smiling and see you soon with our next video.